Hey everybody, it's Bust, Expedition Trial number 223. Let's see who it is. Alright, let's see what we can do with this Riven. I feel like out of like the last like 6 or 7 trials we've gone after these augments, I feel like we've gotten a pretty good grasp on the way these are wanting to go. And nothing about calculated creations assembly bot is what we want to be doing with this Victor. And over here, looking at these ratings from LOR Guardian, I have to imagine that this is in large part, when the new cards come out, nobody really knows how to assemble the augment deck, and it just falls flat quite a bit of the time. Seeing that the Victor rated well below the Karma, this Karmage is hot garbage. This is just one of the actual worst card pools in the game, and we do our best to try to avoid this. The total recall Karma is okay, Enlightenment Karma is you're basically just drafting it for the champion. Which is not something that we recommend you do. So we're going to take this Riven. This is a pretty good start to a Reforged deck, starting with Riven herself and then 2 Blade Squires. Which one is this? This is the one that pairs up with Victor. And so the idea behind this pool is you're going to get these Reforges. These are created cards, and then you can play the Blade Fragments to give bonuses to your augment units, such as Victor. And so I'm going to try to avoid this and try to find like another way to get some value out of these reforges. That seems to be kind of the theme behind Cosmic Creations. Whenever we're looking at a deck, if we're paired up with Noxus, it's like, what can we do with these reforges? Because it's so easy just to get a ton of value out of these things, and so that's my general approach for this. So let's take a moment and get it pulled up on the site. If you're not familiar with the site, ftpbust.com. We're over here on the home page or the Expedition Helper, however you want to look at it. We're just going to go down to the little drop-down thing and then find Riven and Awesome Augments, or Augmented Assault, whatever we're going to be calling this. And this will just give you a quick look over at all of the cards that live in this card pool. Give my ratings on whether a card's kind of a build around or a card we want or something we don't, and then I typically have a quick 3-minute video guide on all of the champions. I haven't had a chance to make them for the Cosmic Creations yet. We'll get those out here within the next week or so. So again, as far as this card pool goes, if we're focusing solely on this Augmented Assault Noxus half, the big thing that we're trying to do is, number one, generate Reforges. So Blade Squire and Rune Weaver are the 2 big units that we're really looking to pick up here. And then, as I kind of mentioned previously, like, what is the big thing that we're able to do with these Reforges? And as far as this card pool on its own goes, the big thing you're looking to do is Trifarian Glory Seeker. Whether or not you are finding a quick attack one and just getting the weapon fragment quick attacks for a free attack in, or for using Legion Drummer to give your Glory Seeker quick attack. You're just looking to get these quick attack challenges in as the big thing that you can pull off. And that's really all this card pool can pull off. You can either kind of go all in on Riven with the swords, or you can try to do quick attack challenges with Trifarian Glory Seeker. There's not really anything else going on here. It does have a touch of late game and a touch of interaction, like late game in the Tusk Raider Reckoner cards, the Guillotine as your kind of interaction. That's not what we're really looking to do here. As far as this card pool goes, we're looking to pick up Reforges, and then we're looking to pick up Epics, should they make an appearance. Both Captain Farron and Kato are extremely good. And then we're looking to do quick attack challenges with the Glory Seeker, with the Reforged weapon shards, and with Legion Drummer. And so that in and of itself, that's not really a deck. If you actually caught our previous trial where we did what is it called? It was Lucian. I was trying to think of the name of the card pool where it used to be with him and Katarina. But with that card pool, we were like specifically looking for these cards to fill in the gaps in that Lucian pool. Like, we wanted Blade Squires, Rune Weavers. They didn't show up, but that was kind of our play for making use of these Reforges. We were ready to give Lucian bonus attack. We were ready to give our challengers quick attack. We were ready to make our late game challenger plays have overwhelm. We had kind of an A and a B and a C for the A and the B and the C we could generate, and that's what we're going to look to find in the next pack, is a little bit of direction, because as far as this goes, this is just good cards. This isn't actual direction to a deck. But let's see here. We're taking the Riven. And let's see what shows up second. we're not taking Victor. I'm just going to go ahead and skip over that deal. So we can either get in the path of Lee Sin or go with the Quinn. And I think actually both of these are pretty interesting, right? But with the Lee Sin, he of course wants you to have some generated spells. This Fist of the Dragon card pool is not a real card pool. Someone was at Riot was being cute, and they basically took all of the Demacia cards that have the word dragon in it. They took all of the Lee Sin cards that have the word dragon in it and put them together in a card pool. I guess that's a thing. I don't know. I hate to talk shit, but that feels pretty low effort, and there's not really inner synergies between the two card pools. But if we're going to try to actually take advantage of this Lee Sin, the Reforges are a great way to do it because we don't really want to be devoting 2 spells at a time to Lee Sin. We can devote 1 spell. Say what I mean by this, say we don't want to play 2 Twin Disciplines. That's too many spells and it wears out too quickly. We could play like a Twin Disciplines plus something else, which is fine. That's something else being like a Reforge from Blade Squire or a gem from something out of Targon or a Zenith Blade, what have you. All of those are completely okay. We just can't be playing 2 real spells in the same turn on Lee Sin. You can always just use Sonic Wave to do it. And then, so I think, these can pair well together. And then the other big thing we look for with Lee Sin is how do we give him Overwhelm? You can do it with Noxus. What I'm really interested in here is with Reforges. You have the Overwhelm sword piece here. We can also look for Might or for Kato the Arms. And Kato the Arm does live within this card pool. So I think this could be a pretty reasonable set of cards. Over here with the Quinn, the reason I felt like this was interesting is the scouts are so good with these sword fragments as well, right? If we're giving a 3-attack scout quick attack, or if we're giving the 2/2 with barrier plus 2 attack, like there's a lot of cool things that we can actually do with these scouts. But I feel like this Lee Sin is going to be the way to go here. So let me take a moment. We'll get him pulled up as well. We're looking for Lee Sin, Fist of the Dragon. And cool. And so I think, we can do quite a bit of things here. I'm really wanting to focus on the Reforges, but, the kind of like side synergies we'll be looking to pick up here are Claws of the Dragon. Should be pretty easy to be cheating these into play. Also kind of interestingly with these is you might be able to just, equip a sword piece on it. It's kind of awkward, but, what we're looking to do sometimes with these sword pieces, probably not in this deck, but sometimes, your turn starts, you play your sword pieces, and then you open attack. They're bursts, so you get to play your cards before you attack. It does give us a way to put Claws of the Dragon on the board before we attack, just if we have a large abundance of sword pieces. We could try to pull that off. But otherwise, all we're really looking for out of this pool is we're going to want Claws of the Dragon. Sonic Wave is kind of the premier spell because it's 2 spells for 1 spell and it gives you some interaction. As we kind of talked about how, you can play Twin Disciplines and then your other card has to be just like not a real spell. Concussive Palm fits the bill there. Getting a unit out of the spell. We want the spells out of the units from the Noxus cards. And then otherwise, we're just going to be building towards Lee Sin. And again, River Shaper can get some bonuses out of the quick attacks. I think this is going to be cool. I think this is going to be able to assemble a real neat deck here. So we're going to look to build towards the Lee Sin, but then pick up every Reforge unit that we can. So I think that's how we're going to have to look at the kind of like tier of cards that we want. Like the Reforge units are going to be tier 1. Also, oh man, I was just thinking of Weapon Hilt as well. Weapon Hilt kind of doing the same thing as Sonic Wave, being 2 spells in 1 card. You have to play it before combat, but still interesting. But no, kind of anyways, this kind of tier 1 we'll be looking for are the Reforges and Sonic Wave, just the things that give us 2 cards out of 1 so that we don't run out of gas for Lee Sin. Then, where the weakness is going to fall here, we don't have to pay a whole lot of attention to our late game because Lee Sin just does it all, but we do need kind of a fallback plan in the event that this goes wrong. We will have access to Sword, which is pretty useful, but we'll also want to pick up 1 Horns of the Dragon or 1 other just kind of big epic unit. And then as kind of touching on the weaknesses here, in that this doesn't have any real way to interact, and so we'll have to try to find like Whirling Deaths or Calling Strikes, some kind of way to kill off an opposing unit, because Ionia has nothing and Noxus doesn't have any just straight, just killing unit cards. So, okay, cool. I'm fine to go down the path of the Fists of the Dragon here. See, look, this says dragon on it, so it clearly belongs in this card pool. Please. I'll try to quit being salty. But no, we've got, one of the build-around units and then the actual Tier 1 build-around spell, just everything we're looking for here. Don't really need Legion Drummers in this style of deck. Savage Reckoner could be our kind of fill-in for what happens if we don't have Lee Sin or what happens if he dies, but we don't need to be picking that up at this stage of the draft. This is an all-star pack over here. Okay, well, I'm okay to keep continuing down the path of the Claws of the Dragon. We'll have to see how many of these we end up picking up. The thing I see out that I want here is the Whirling Death. These in-combat removal spells like Whirling Death or to a lesser degree Concussive Palm can be extremely powerful with our Overwhelms, and so we should be able to get some dual usage out of these cards with our Reforges as well. But here I want the Claws first and foremost. Okay, well, Whimsy is kind of as good as it gets as a removal spell in this kind of deck, so we're going to take a Whimsy here. It's just going to be much better than Nox and Guillotine. And so do we want the Rush or do we want the Spirit's Refuge? And I'm just going to take the Rush. They are both commons, but the Spirit's Refuge has to live in like 6 or 7 or 8 card pools, where Rush only lives in like 1 or 2. And so I have a feeling that we're very likely to see more Spirit's Refuges in the future than Rushes, and I kind of do just like to have the cheaper cards. If it comes down to, throughout the course of the draft, if we're going to have 3 of Rush and Spirit's Refuge, I would like to have like 2 Rushes and 1 Spirit's Refuge, as opposed to 1 Rush and 2 Spirit's Refuge. Just being a cheap spell is a pretty good deal. Okay, well, the Reforges don't want to show up, but I guess we'll have to kind of like hope that they do. But with these packs, I want to stay away from Demacia. I want to be fully in Ionia Noxus here. There's not a whole lot we can get value out of from these. Like if this was a pack with a Detain, I would consider it, or if it had like the Grand Plaza in it, I would consider it. But neither of these are cards that we're really looking for. So here, I don't think we'll ever get value out of Demolitionist. We can maybe make something happen with Inspired Mentor, but, the Will of Ionia is the card we're really gunning for here. Okay, interesting. I think I kind of like, I've gotten to the point where I almost want Nopafaz in Expedition. At least given this, like, current, like, patch 1.16, where Riven and Victor are so much more common. Being able to pop off on a Riven Sword, the Blade of the Exile, or counter off, an augment card your opponent's trying to do, you can reasonably get some value out of this. It's not a card I'm going to go out of my way to find, but from where it used to be unplayable, this is at least something I'm not like mad to have in my deck now. But with these cards, we're just going to take the River Shaper. This should work fantastically with the Quick Attack sword piece. We have a Rush to work with it. This is a good piece of card advantage engine that we can get going on. Reforge. Nowhere. There's just no Reforges anywhere today. And so there is kind of, a limit to the number of Concussive Palms that we want. I would really just like 1 more at the most, and so I don't want to go out of my way to pick these up. I think we'll just take the Swole Squirrel and the Horns of the Dragon. I do want to have 1 Horns of the Dragon, especially since, at the round 0 we have 1 Lee Sin, and then we won't have 3 copies of him until we get 3 wins. We just got to have like something to fill in, since we're so much less likely to draw him in these early stage games. Okay, well, I'll take another Claws of the Dragon. Key Guardian plays well with these. Burst speeding out a barrier 3 attack unit can be pretty good. And this also cycles, so it helps us keep our spell count high. We are passing on a Rune Weaver, which is a bit unfortunate, but both of these cards over here are super high value towards what we're trying to do. Okay, and then this Rune Weaver we'll take. The Blade's Edge Homecoming are both mediocre to bad. We don't have any combos with the Kinku Lifeblade. I would like to have Spirit's Refuge, but I think the Rune Weaver is better than the Refuge. And here, the Trifarian is worse than the Lifeblade, but I think we need to be hopefully picking up, like 3 or 4 more Reforges. These Reforge cards kind of have dual use here, as to where we need them to be defensive in the early game while also generating a spell for us. But here, got some more Claws of the Dragon, works for me. I would like Whirling Death, but not the Tefarian. And then we don't really need Swell Squirrel, Spirit's Refuge. And as I was kind of talking about with Rush, we've seen this is like the third or the fourth Spirit's Refuge we've seen. We haven't seen a Rush since. So that was kind of my ideal in taking it. Okay, these cards are all pretty terrible, but I'm okay to take a Legion Drummer with the Reckoner. Our top end is still a little bit light. It's kind of close to the point where I like it to be. You know, we'd be okay with like one or two more expensive cards, and this at least gives us an early game unit as well. Okay, interesting. So I'm going to go for the Deep Meditation here. I do like having access to some of these bigger, beefier spells instead of just being like all rushes and cheap combat tricks. And so the Deep Meditation, of course, good in being a 2-for-1, and then Stand United is one of the stronger barriers. So, you know, before we get into the last pick here, the thing I'm kind of looking for is like I want a Usari, and then I want Reforges, and then I think that's pretty close to how we want this deck to look. Okay, well, I'm gonna be okay with another Rush and a River Shaper. These other packs are all fairly weak. We don't want a big stack Will Ionias. We already have one. We have one Reckoner as well. The Sharpened Resolve would be good, but both of these cards down here are pretty fantastic. Okay, no, I don't want to trade out Blade Squires. I want more of these. So interesting. Let's pick up the Calling Strike for the Inspired Mentor. He's not like super good in our deck. We don't have any challengers and we don't have any elusives, and so just giving a rando unit +1 attack is not a super good deal. And we haven't picked up any. This is like the only real removal that we've picked up so far. This isn't even real removal, and so you know, at least give us something, some way to deal with like a Teemo or a Zoe or something in the early game. Okay, and then, oh man, I almost forgot. We got to go and buy our premium. This is all about all about the 2-cost dragon thing that comes into play for free. Calls the dragon. Yeah, you're gonna be our premium for today. We're gonna burst these out on our opponents. They're gonna be dazzled by her shininess. It's gonna be pretty fantastic. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I was expecting to see more Reforges. We passed on one. That was it. You know, that can be a function of from where at the beginning of the trial we did take the Fists of the Dragon pack, and then we didn't really take any Noxus packs early. So I think it, you know, kind of does drive down the frequency that these cards will show up. But it also just could have been a bit of variance. We saw like so many just like whirling death Minotaur packs in there. That it kind of makes sense that, you know, maybe the right things were showing up, but just without the cards that we wanted. And I think this is pretty reasonable. There's nothing that stops us from actually just playing Calls of the Dragon on 2. But as this goes up, I just plan on banking 3 mana into the fourth turn, or the third turn, I should say. I don't think we need to just be pushing these out. Okay. Interesting. We have to add a unit now. I guess we're just going to do Swole Squirrel. Let's go play an Asherelian Soul. Sure. But I do want to Sonic Wave Resonating Strike this turn. That'll work. We can still take this unit down. Because I also want to probably be playing Deep Meditation next turn.
Rain from a cloudless sky. Within my grasp.
I'm not expecting this to be super successful, but if this gets like a Frostbite out of his hand, then, you know, this is pretty good for us. Sure, it's a spell. Just to save a Ice Veil Archer works for me. How do we like this to look? Excuse me. Like, as it stands, I'm pretty good to just draw 2 spells hopefully pick up a rush with those spells so that we can get kind of like a little bit more advantage with our Swell Scroll. I mean, we should be pretty close to just just drawing those. We've eliminated a lot of spells out of our deck. But we don't really need to be adding units to this board. Okay. These are the scary thing if you're ever trying to do like big things with Swell Squirrel or with Horns of the Dragon, is your opponent picks up Obliterates.
Hearts unshackled.
Leaping into action.
I think we're fine to just get our trades here.
You act, but do not see.
We're not going to get any like bonuses out of these on the attack side of things. We're pretty free to just add Horns of the Dragon and push.
They thought we wouldn't fight back.
Another fantastic target for an Overwhelm. We can still do these things where if we give Horns of the Dragon Overwhelm and then Concussive Palm's blocker, he'll just send his double attack right to face. So lots of powerful things that can be done here if we hit right with our Reforges. Cool.
Blessed by snow and stars.
Faster than my arrow?
You got it.
I think not.
Okay, so I mean I wouldn't be upset to just add the 3 units to the board. Are we gonna have to just like keep up Stand United mana? Maybe. See how this goes. Hit the +2 attack, okay. I mean, if we get into combat here and, you know, Stand United, good chance it's pretty powerful. Just I'd rather be adding to the board. Is this how we want to spend our Stand United? I guess it doesn't feel good, but.
An auspicious season.
He probably can't attack here. Like, if he wants to weaken our Swell Squirrel, then he has to attack with Ash. And then he's just going to lose Ash if she attacks. I think here we want to at least add a Legion Drummer. Giving the Swell Squirrel quick attack is very good against this board. I feel like we could probably develop a... Fuck. It's not good. That's not great for us, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, well we shouldn't be dying in combat at least. Let's load up our Horns of the Dragon so we can ace one of his units off the board. He's just gonna block with Starlit Seer. Here we can at least add a River Shaper, bank up 3 mana, and then we can play any assortment of Concussive Palms and Will of Ionias next turn to keep ourselves from dying. Have to assume he's just going to Crystal Arrow us. And if he gets too cute on his board here, like if he plays a 7-drop or something, we can Will of Ionia his Ash or Concussive Palmer so that he can't get like the big Frostbite attacks in.
Leave your bags in the door.
So the big thing we also have to kind of like consider here is if we want to send this Ash back to his hand, we have to open attack next turn, or he can hit us with hit us with the Crystal Arrow. Then I feel like his plan was the Crystal Arrow here, and we did get to shut that down, and we'll just have a huge open next turn. He's still going for it, huh?
Pay or bleed.
Should be okay. I mean, he's not going to win this combat with a combat trick. It will be unfortunate if he's able to... this feels like he's probably got an Elixir of Iron. Maybe not if he's not sending everything in. Okay. I'll take the bait for whatever. I mean, I think he's just got an Elixir of Iron. Why? Why are you doing? What are you doing, boss?
Scared stiff.
Whimsy? Huge. Okay, so we want to get this again. This. All of these can come down here. Probably never going to Leaf Flame, so let's leave our Minotaur Reckoner back. Bored. It was. I had some kitties freaking out in the background. Okay, that's as good as it gets for us.
A gift from the river folk.
What spells do we even have left? One Calling Strike, one Key Guardian, one Sonic Wave, one Rush? Okay.
We swim within the flows of magic.
As long as we don't die here, I think we should be fine. Should be pretty tough for him to kill us. He can't, Crystal Arrow anymore. He's gonna hook like something with Usgar, probably Horns of the Dragon, and we'll have a Concussive Palm on it. Can throw away a unit in front of his other one. Yeah, this all seems legit. Save our tricks for actual combat.
Leave your bags in the door.
All the world on one arrow. Show me a target.
Yes, run! Crack ice and flesh!
How about another round?
Okay, this is the easy
Your
one.
fate was written.
We have to Concussive Palm here. I also want to kill this Ash, so we're probably just going to have to go ahead and Sonic Wave. So if we're going to Sonic Wave, let's go ahead and do this. And then I think I'm okay to throw away our other River Shaper. We're going to have like literally 0 spells at the end of this combat, so I think that's okay. And then we just need to Concussive Palm down Usgar. Okay.
What form will the waters take?
So cold.
Cool. So now we can also Calling Strike his Kindly
gift
Tavern
from
Keeper
the
to keep his
riverfolk.
good one on lockdown.
Oh, it's gonna close up.
We have a rush for our Swole Squirrel. Still no way to get overwhelmed, but this is okay.
I'm getting warmed up.
Let's see what we draw.
Nothing can stop me.
We'll see what he adds to the board. There's a good chance that we actually want to Concussive Palm before combat here. Can't kill us with that next turn. Let's get the full board in.
You insist on fighting when you could step aside.
You cannot tell the wind to change
So how
direction.
does this go? If he blocks our 3 bigs, he's going to put Firebrand in front of Horns of the Dragon to ensure that this dies. He's going to put something here and something here. Then he still takes 11. Okay.
Grasping claws.
Charge! I accept.
So he needs a Frostbite to get himself out of this. These blocks don't look right. Yeah, no, put your 5 down here. Let's see what he pulls off here. If we don't win this combat, we are in a bit of trouble. This Asgard just mowing down our board at will. Okay. Good game, friend. Good game. So let's see. Let's get some more of these Lee Sins. That's not going to have any Reforges in it, but you know, we still got some trade picks we can do along the way. It's going to be at Lee Sin, Claws of the Dragon, Sonic Wave. We're going to be real stoked about it. Or Lee Sin, Concussive Palm, Spirit's Refuge. Oh, that'll have to do it. Is that our 3rd Palm? And the 1st Spirit's Refuge. Okay. At least checked off a few of the boxes that, you know, we want, but didn't have to go out of our way to find. I do like having the 1 Spirit's Refuge because it can make it fairly easy to gain like 8 or 10 health with Horns of the Dragon. Or if it's, you know, happening in combat, you'd be preventing a big chunk of damage back towards you. Like it has, you know, certainly a lot of extremely good uses. Then we hit our Concussive Palm limit as well. So let's hang on to our 1 Reforge here, see what else we can find. Cool, cool. It's just like we're an aggro deck or something now.
I'm cold, I'm hungry, and there's rocks in me boots.
Yes, these aren't words I'm capable of pronouncing.
Some action.
Runeterra, Aurelian Soul.
The more we learn, the less we fear.
These hands know metal and magic.
Picked up Overwhelm. Okay. It's typically the last one you want, but it's okay. And how do we want to approach this? If we just want to assume that he's going to play like a 3/3 here, I think that's okay. We can trade Legion Drummer for whatever his 3/3 is, or we can get into combat with a rush, or ideally like with this, he's just getting chump blocks.
Come back later. How bothersome.
And if he wants to spend a sharp sight here, I'm pretty okay with that.
What is this?
Okay. Pretty good for us. assume we can get down,
You must have some unique insight.
get down Big Boy Supreme
Most
here,
of the
and
tools are
then
deadly.
we can hook attack him into
They are
Shyvana next turn.
nothing.
Okay. Alright, let's fill out this board.
Skill and grace to tear your breath away.
Remember why we fight! Raershan.
Okay. So, I mean, he can have a variety of things that make this Shyvana attack not good.
Not the
But we're going murder mode on his board otherwise here. Now, if it's a sharp sight, we can still play through it. I have to assume it's a barrier. These Shyvana decks typically have barriers as their combat tricks of choice. And so I would suspect this is like a riposte or something. But, I mean, like, the big thing if he is about to try to, like, riposte his Shyvana is that, the hell are all these cards? He's trying to Concerted Strike the Trifarian, and then strike down here. She doesn't have Fury yet. How is this going to play out? So we can rush here, right? Double check she doesn't have Fury yet. That's only when she flips. Okay.
Spring raindrops.
Oh, he completely fucked that up. Oh, sorry, bro. I'm sorry about that.
Trust your instincts. Let's fly.
Gladly.
He did his single combat before he did his concerted strike, so his Shyvana died in combat, and then he only got to deal 1 damage to our unit. That's brutal. That is brutal. I'm sorry, friend.
The more we learn, the less we fear.
Okay, so we're probably fairly safe to just go ahead and Dragon's Protection something. Let's at least protect our biggest unit.
The dragon will keep you safe.
There's an argument to hold on to it in case we draw like a Lee Sin or something, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. Well, sometimes it is the case. Do we even get any real value out of playing this here? I guess the big thing with adding him is that we'd be able to like just challenge whatever his unit is. I think we'll just be getting this set up for our next attack.
It's my time. Ready for the fight.
Right, because he's going to have a unit here like 100% of the time, and it's probably going to be some kind of like challenger dragon. So I don't want to get like too invested in this board. That's lethal. You got to block down here. And I don't like exactly remember how these cards work, but I think we can like swap out of this. Let's at least just protect our 8 damage that's in going face. Like I was gonna say, I think I could like swap a unit out to like have one be in combat. Oh shit! Our unit's gonna die. I forgot about that concerted strike. I think we're still okay here, but probably could have done that turn better. He just has no unit. Wow. Okay, that's gonna leave him with 5 mana. This one should be done.
What's that one? And that
Boy's
one.
got 6, so he can obliterate us. All right. Well, if his plays obliterate, then we still just win the game.
Flash, dash.
Not letting anything go wrong with this. He can't kill us with this attack.
Finally, some action.
Center your spirit.
Okay. I don't think there's any way out of this for him. Good game. Oof.
I thank you, dragon.
You're welcome, Dragon. I thank you too. Let's see who we get. Maybe a Reforge. Maybe. No? Not trading out our Runeweaver. I am happy to trade away the Trifarian for Reckless or Legion Drummer. He was reasonable in these games, but it's a little bit higher variance than I want out of my early game plays. We have kind of gotten a few of these draws to where we doubled down on Claws of the Dragon, and then having the big beefy unit was pretty useful, but I think that's going to be the exception and not the norm. As I draw double Claws of the Dragon. Triple Claws of the Dragon, make it. Alright, let's see if we can't get a Reforge at some point.
See the world from behind a basilisk.
Okay, and I don't think we need to get overly clever with these Claws of the Dragons. I'm not going to just try to like stall out until super late in the game, just to play these for free. But we have a bit of time here to just get some spells going. And his board is extremely good against these Claws of the Dragon type plays. Now that we have Riven, that's going to change. Why would you flash Brilliance? I guess you can play some of them. Beautiful.
Is that all you got?
Well, okay.
The past is a burden we must learn to bear.
Yeah, shit's about to happen, not gonna lie. So we can put both Reforges onto Riven, which is pretty reasonable if we want to go the sword route. We can't Key Guardian anything. This is probably how we're going to go. We're going to double claw or double thing our Riven, get a whole bunch of dudes down, and we're good to attack. And then he's going to put this in front of one of our 3/2s that we can rush through. Do I got like a winky face on here? Is that a winky face? Oh no, it's a face palm. Oh no. Okay. Come on, bud, you're missing all the cool plays. You're missing out on the triple claws of the dragons. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Got the old toilet to the phone problem? Sometimes it happens. You just drop your phone in the toilet.
Investigating
Nice.
officer,
Okay.
Unit 6.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I'm doing this my way.
Looking for a concussive palm here. He's gonna try to hook down Riven.
Punch it! Freeze!
Okay, so how do we want to approach this now? Can like sword up our Riven. Should be pretty tough for his deck to actually deal with. I'm okay with this.
Hi-ya!
I won't look back.
So she'll be pretty meaty here. Do have 3 mana left over. Probably just use it to Calling Strike something. No thermogenic beams. That's not fun.
Neither the flames nor the
We're here
death
for the
could
funs.
flame me.
Oh. What happens if we just open here and we try to we can overwhelm 9 on this powder keg?
What conflict awaits? Grasping claws. Bring it.
I'll cut
He's
my
lining up
name
blocks,
into
but
ya.
I'm pretty sure this is just lethal. Either the powder keg dies when he tries to remove Claws of the Dragon, or we could have Calling struck it to get an overwhelm. I was pretty sure that was going to wrap it up. Nice.
At
There's what
last, a way
Reforges can
forward.
do here. Let's see, we're just taking the Lee Sin pack. Hopefully it's got good stuff in it. Ooh, an Eye of the Dragon. We can get some usage out of these. Lots of cool things you can do with these, even you give it like +2 attack, or get some good stuff. Good stuff. I'm on board. Riven Leona, you got it. So many Claws of the Dragon we can slam out on this guy. Looks like 2. So, I mean, I guess we should be keeping these, right? It's pretty like low effort to get these on the board. 3 of these on the board. Again, there's like nothing stopping us from just playing one. I don't think I want to do it just yet. But it's looking like our hand isn't going to really cooperate with
Skill and
with
grace
getting these on the
tear
board.
your breath away. The dragon
What's this guy doing?
remembers.
Interesting.
To serve the greater good.
Don't know. I just don't care. What else is there to say about this? I just don't care. We want to add Blade Squire. I think that's fine. He's never going to hook it. But
Heads will
I want to just go ahead and whimsy here and get this thing off the board. And if he has another combat trick, I'm pretty okay with it. I'm wanting to... the units of his that worry me tend to be more along the lines of these champions, so I wanted to save the Spirit's Refuge in the event we got to use it for a champion. Then I think this should be safe. Just go all in on Lee Sin here. Okay. I would like to wait a turn before we get this going, but I think this will be okay. Let's go ahead and add him. Maybe he'll rethink attacking if we add Gigantic Lee Sin. I have no intention of ever blocking with Lee Sin here, but I want to say what up and and let him know that that he's here. So let's just go ahead and pick up a sword piece. We want to block this with something. Then, as we kind of mentioned previously, we can go out of our way to just gain a whole bunch of health with the Spirit's Refuge and Lee Sin, or whatever unit we want to go about that with. Okay, alright, let's do this. Let's add Legion Drummer first. See if we can't bait out something from his board. Planning on concussive palming this Tusk Raider. If that's successful, or if he plays a bigger unit, then he's done it. But the end goal here is to have a barrier attack in on his Fused Firebrand. That's moderately annoying. Okay. Does that change our mind about anything here? Not really. Let's add River Shaper.
We swim within the flows of magic.
We'd rather save this Concussive Palm for next turn. And then just Spirit's Refuge something here? I don't think so. We could, look to Spirit's Refuge our River Shaper. So how does it look if we want to be doing things that way. Let's say we hook his Tusk Raider with Lee Sin, attack with everything else. This blocks something. We Spirit's Refuge, that's something. This blocks something else and just gets a kill. But we actually get to bring a unit down. I think I'm on board with this. Well, alright, maybe I'm not. I want to ensure that Lee Sin has barrier.
Ying Yue, you've
Oh,
been
oops. That was less than less than ideal, I guess you could say.
Show them the might of Noxus.
I guess we're not getting those Claws of the Dragon on the board. Interesting, he's not blocking River Shaper. Maybe he's got a Whirling Death for that. Okay, cool.
Keep formation.
A gift from the river folk.
Wonder if we could have just won the game. The other thing I didn't really consider was what if we just let these combats happen, give Lee Sin Overwhelm, and then Concussive Palm whatever's blocking him. So let's say like he blocked a 3, blocked a 4, and then we would have guaranteed to get in for 6. Would have pushed in an extra 4 damage. Maybe we could have gone for it. Doesn't really solve the problem that we have with a Whirling Death. Probably a little greedy to go about it that way. But lots of choices that we had there in a limited amount of time. I'm happy with how with what we came up with the time we were given.
The dragon waits.
Okay, so I won't put Lee Sin in front of this thing. I don't want, if he does have this Whirling Death, I don't want him taking down our Lee Sin. So the question is, like, do we actually want to be like Spirits Refuging Lee Sin, or do we have enough health to just not have to worry about that? Because it is a touch of a problem next turn if we don't actually have a unit. Let's see. This is okay. I'm not playing Rush here. This is okay.
Their heartbeats quicken.
Oh, to 6. There's no way he can kill us from there. Well, let's leave it at that. Have maximum attackers for next turn. I guess he can't technically kill us here. It takes 2 combat tricks. It should be tough for him to do. He's going to have like Brother's Bond and Pale Cascade. Brother's Bond can give +4. Okay.
My heart longs for the poetry of battle.
You will not live long with that attitude.
Alright, let's see how this goes. Let's get a little big attack in here.
You're in over your head.
Face me. My lands need me.
Cool.
Ionia endures.
Ionia endures, agreed. Okay, so what do we have here? Cool to get rid of Swole Squirrel. I want to hang on to our Horns of the Dragon and our Blade Squire. So we'll be picking up a second Spirit's Refuge, which is okay. Our unit to spell ratio, you kind of tend to look for kind of a like 1-to-1. I think it's still a little bit more important to have units than it is spells, but some of these spells are Concussive Palms, which count as units, so I'm pretty okay to just be picking up some spells here. Maybe we can make some plays where we don't just throw away handfuls of Claws of the Dragons. Oh, whoops. That does feel pretty good though, right? If you just absolutely discard 2 cards and still pretty handily win the game. Makes us feel good about what's happening with our deck here. Okay, so we can hang on to Riven. And let's look for Reforges, Claws of the Dragons, the standard fare. Okay. It's like I'm half tempted to just bank into this. It's such an awkward play for our Legion drummer to have to encounter. But
I keep step with the heartbeat of Noxus.
it'll be okay. It gets much worse if he just gets like really aggressive on this board. I wanted to be able to block a fearsome. Is this, I mean,
Defend the
okay, we don't have any challengers. Let's just go ahead and get this out of here. Probably should have attacked last turn.
Break the ties that bind.
But it's like the thing that I was kind of like, it's like we want to keep it so we can give our units quick attack. Riven just doesn't really need it.
Actually here.
It's just kind of like we have. Otherwise, if we just want to play units, we have to hit the quick attack spell, or we've just spent a bunch of mana for nothing.
Violence.
This is a good
and
open.
Violence. Whoa! Hey!
Made of stars.
Okay, let's get fully banked. So we'll get the quick attack when next turn.
We Demacians are no easy prey.
We're gonna have to protect with the Spirit's Refuge on our Riven. Well, I guess we can Calling Strike. Okay, let's see what happens first. I do want to be able to Spirit's Refuge if this Calling Strike fails.
You'll pay.
Okay, no, I don't think I don't think we're going to be blocking anything here.
Rivers shape the land and give it life.
That sucks. Not the end of the
Still
world,
heart,
but
steady aim.
certainly not ideal.
Finally, peace.
Okay, well, we can fairly safely switch to Horns of the Dragon, I think. Doesn't feel like we need to Sonic Wave these. It is risky giving him a potentially a flipped Quinn. When, like, we can add Horns of the Dragon and all he has to do is block with Egghead Researcher. But do we just need to play it slow? Playing it slow with Minotaur Reckoner doesn't seem to do anything. Like, if we play like Horns of the Dragon, he's going to attack and block with Egghead Researcher. If we play Minotaur Reckoner, probably not going to attack with it because he's just like sitting here with riposte mana, and then otherwise he just blocks with Egghead Researcher, or he just spikes down the Researcher. I think I want to be aggressive here.
No place for the kind anymore.
Okay, so again, he can Sharp Sight here, which would be unfortunate.
Come back later.
I'm gonna say I think we're just gonna get a Researcher.
The egg.
To the field!
Then of course the thing we can try to build up here is getting the +2 attack Overwhelm on the Horns of the Dragon.
Nagakaburos guide us.
Okay, so I mean we're gonna get blasted by a Quinn Bird at some point. That's okay.
Ning, let us unleash the dragon's wisdom.
It will be a joy.
Blessed is motion.
Currents pull them down.
It's too greedy to put it on the horns. It probably is. Let's just go ahead and get a block in. This is just gonna dot a Quinn Bird anyways. And then with an attack like this, Quinn Bird will hook Horns of the Dragon. This is fine.
A gift from the river folk.
What do you think about just concussive palming Quinn? I don't like it. We're pretty close to just killing him with Horns of the Dragon. What do we actually have? Do we have +2, +4, getting him up to 8? So we could 16 him. Do we need to let this combat happen before we play Reckoner? I don't think so. Oh, we just can't. I guess that makes it easier. All right, let's pass. Kind of want to save this concussive palm for a overwhelm attack. But
Stay on the target.
Is it a waste to just burn one of these? It feels kind of wasteful.
History is anguish.
No one escapes my aim. It's our time to shine, Valor.
Your attack is obvious.
Your attack is obvious. But, he's willing to just throw a unit away. We're willing to cycle Spirit's Refuge. Can we pick up anything that actually wins the game here? Like, trying to think if we have other plus attack things. We could hit one Sonic Wave. We need to get this to have +6 attack. We can only do +4 right now, so we'd have to hit Sonic Wave. That's a pretty low chance.
You cannot win.
We'll just sacrifice our unit here.
Hey there, hothead.
You're one to talk.
I think I'm gonna just go ahead and give him Overwhelm. Right, we're gonna slam Quinn here, but
Of all
maybe that's a little greedy.
Valor.
So we're gonna make a dragon next turn, and we can add a Reckoner. This seems okay. We just need time. We need to draw a Lisa in or a Deep Meditation or something.
Anything for the right coin.
Okay, well, I think we're fine. Cycled away one Quinn. We lost another one, so we shouldn't be too likely to have him. He's got a bunch of dragons in his hand, though. I think he has 2 dragons in hand, right? That's scary.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
Not seeing how we like punch through damage so that we can finally kill with the horns. Trying to see if our Lee Sin was flipped halfway there. Living on a prayer. That's the lyrics, right? Oh, engine VV? Jesus, dude. Okay, well, let that happen. We'll get her destroyed in combat with probably with a whimsy when she tries to get a value attack. Like if she hooks River Shaper, this is extremely good for us.
Always forward. These woods belong to us.
Surprised he's worried about this thing. Like all this thing's doing is blocking Cythria. Not going to spend a +2 attack just so that we can block some of these fearsomes. I don't think so, right? I mean, we have 2 blockers. We can give one of them barrier. comes down to it, we could rush something. That seems unnecessary. Okay.
Don't hold back!
You're not getting through. I'll make this quick.
Okay.
You should stay back, cowards.
We played 2 spells, right? Okay, perfect. Alrighty, maybe we can get something going here. We need to draw some card advantage. That's not card advantage, but he does give us access to the big sword. Should that make itself make itself relevant? What are we gonna do here? I think I want to spew both of these onto our horns if we're ideally going to get a big sword here in the near immediate future. Kind of okay with attacking with River Shaper as well. We're just going to be replacing it with Blade Squire. I think this is okay.
Time for violence.
Engulf them.
You've made your path.
Okay. As expected.
What form will the waters take?
Perfect, perfect,
Waters are
perfect.
still.
All the perfects, all the perfects.
Cold
Okay.
mongering, and there's ropes
Okay.
in the boots.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
And Lee Sin. Okay, okay. Ready for action. He's like, oh my gosh, he's not playing anything? Oh my gosh. And Badger Bear, sure. Still not playing anything. And no scout? Oh, this thing can't block. Forgot about that. Maybe, can we... Well, he can block here.
Is that all you got?
Nothing personal. I won't feel a thing.
Oh.
Face me, Shorthorn.
You lack subtlety.
Oh god, block, get in there. Block, what are you doing?
You're not getting through.
Oh my goodness. Take 4, right? Okay. Oh my gosh, that was scary. Not sure what was happening there.
Ocean Mara.
I thought you'd run.
A cargo!
Okay. Everything's good now.
Breathe in, breathe out.
I fight with the dragon's fury.
That's right. Fist of the dragon and stuff.
Force is meaningless without skill.
Guess we probably should have played Key Guardian. I didn't want to play Key Guardian because it would he'd already have Lee Sin would already have barrier, or we're planning on giving him barrier. But nonetheless, this should be okay. I'm sure this will just close out the game.
Safeguard our
Yep.
citizens.
This one is over.
Strike firmly. Center your spirit.
Let's do it that way. Get him with the dragon kick overwhelms.
Unlike, well,
Big sword Lee Sin. Not a bad thing to assemble. They probably could have done that a little better, but this is one of these decks to where, you know, if I played 150 games of this at Constructed, I'd feel very comfortable with it. But you know, given that we get to play Lee Sin like once every you know, 15 drafts or whatever, it's a little tougher to understand all of the interactions as they show up. But as far as this one goes, I feel like 3 Lee Sins is probably good. I don't think we want to trade into 4, because like we should realistically only ever be playing 1 in a game, right? Or if it gets to the point to where we want to be playing a second Lee Sin, then we have a pretty reasonable chance of drawing it up to that point. And so, as you've seen in kind of like a lot of these games, we do have these things where, you know, it's like, well, do we want to just like play a Claws of the Dragon on turn 4 or turn 3 because we're just going to like super bank, you know, and having Riven to just throw down on board can be pretty important. So I don't think we want the 4th Lee Sin. Definitely don't want Rushed for Fey Guide, and then I'm hanging on to all of our Claws of the Dragon. So I think we can safely skip all of those as we get into the pre-final battle. We did it. We put Big Sword on Lee Sin. It was as game ending as I assumed it would be. It's a little easier to put you know, to put Zenith Blades on him, but you don't get style points for doing that. You get style points for putting Big Sword on Lee Sin. What a weird combo. A single Zed, 2 Victors, 1 Heimer. I would typically go on about how like we have to mulligan for an answer to Zed, but we just don't really have one to begin with. So let's just mulligan for our Claws of the Dragon and early game plays. You can see as I was talking about wanting to hang on to this Riven, in a hand like this, you know, we don't have anything to play in the first 2 turns. We might draw Claws of the Dragon that we don't really want to play. And having Lee Sin on 3, or having Riven on 3 is a pretty meaty play that we can make. We'll not slam this into Zed if that's his play. We can just wait a turn and take 3 and taking down with Spirit's Refuge. Ooh, Aftershock. Okay. Gonna hit us with now. We're just getting the 2-for-1 right from the start. You gotta bring on a Mystic Shot. Bust is suspect. A little bit suspect of that. He does not realize Aftershock does 3 damage. Like, there has to be an incoming damage source here. He's gonna play like a electrostatic shock or something. We would want to just Spirit's Refuge though, right?
What can I say? I'm an adaptable guy.
Flee
Android,
with 2
okay.
E's!
And hide with the hide. Try to keep up.
Like, if he had Mystic Shot, why didn't he Mystic Shot last turn? I think I'm okay to just try to bank through all this. Or if he has his Mystic Shot, we can play the Spirit's Refuge. It's just extremely confusing as to what's happening here. I feel like our Riven is safe, but with our hand, nothing here is really worth adding to the board. Now we pick up Lee Sin. Okay.
Master yourself, master your enemy.
Guess we're content with Riven just being a fragment generator. Or do we just go ahead and trade her away? Get this over with. make this stop.
Our enemies cannot hide.
I'm pretty willing to put a point of damage onto Lisa. We're going to have a pretty big attack otherwise.
You always did think too much.
I failed.
Strike firm. Prepare yourself.
Okay, works for me. Push the button, dude. You can't do anything. Just push it. You're never blocking here. Just push the button. Okay. Interesting. So, I mean, I want to bank 3 here. I'm pretty cool with never blocking Gearhead. See what he adds. Like, if he adds Victor, it's pretty easy to just ignore. Although it is kind of a reasonable will of Ionia just to send him back. The problem with a play like that is we don't really have any follow-up next turn other than punching in for 9 damage. I'd like to get River Shaper on board. But let's see what he does. Like, the initial thought that I had was like, what can we like piece together that involves Horns of the Dragon? Which we can do.
I did, and zero regrets.
I think I'm okay with this. Right? Let's say we River Shape.
Shape the land and give it life.
We're going to play Horns of the Dragon next turn, and then we're just planning to play Spirit's Refuge onto Lisa to have Barrier Lifesteal on him. Look, something. Probably just like whatever his small unit is, because he doesn't want to put Victor in front of a Horns.
Another brilliant design.
Or we can double spell now. How dangerous is it to Calling Strike Victor? It shouldn't be. He hasn't played anything that would put augments in his hand. The thing's slow. If he wants to play the things that like generate stuff, like the thing that generates these or generates a copy of a unit, he can't play the unit. There's shouldn't have any way to boost this. Suit up is a way to do it, but does this count as a spell? I don't know if this still counts. It does not. This is still fine.
Now I pack a punch.
Energy core upgraded.
We can replay, which is kind of the awkward thing here, but I think this is be okay. If that's the extent of his turn, is adding Victor back to the board, then it's a reasonably big win. Oh, he's just not adding Victor back. It's whatever this stupid card is. It's good. That's good. Like, Victor was at least a minor problem. He's kind of in a spot to where, you know, if he wanted to just slam him back down to block a Claws of the Dragon, it's scary and it sucks, but you kind of have to do it. But much rather just face a random 2-drop than
The dragon
Victor.
waits.
Because the big concern is whatever he has contesting this River Shaper, at least from our point of view. Those might, you know, all look differently from his point of view. But I would have much rather him not have Victor. Now we're guaranteed to get a free River Shape.
My lands need center
good to
your
me.
spirit.
Okay.
Waters are still.
Oh, we gave him Overwhelm. His quick attack. Okay, well, seems good. Yeah. All that we have to kind of assume that'll happen here is he's going to put Victor down again next turn. He does have this free play in his hand. I'm sure that'll come down now, but we're just looking to add Horns of the Dragon next turn and banking 2 spell mana so that we can play 2 spells on the following turn. Have our Lee Sin activated. He's not going to flip. He's got a ways to go about this. We needed River Shaper to survive for that kind of thing. Pick up Runeweaver.
Words of power linger in the air.
Do not fear the shrouded path.
How much do we even have to care about Zed? that's the spot we're in here. Let's at least let him attack first. We should probably block a Living Shadow. Or block a Zed. He's tapped out, so it doesn't like super matter how we approach this. And that still leaves us with the thing I was trying to orchestrate for next turn was having a Whimsy Overwhelm on this Horns of the Dragon. These seem a little bit short in damage, but
Patience is underrated. Act free of doubt.
okay. This is still fine.
This is going to get violent.
Still have Whimsy Overwhelm. He can't get 2 units on the board, and he can Yo. That's annoying. it's certainly annoying. Yeah.
I'm cold, I'm hungry, and there's rocks in me boots.
Do we get how much value do we get out of attacking here? He's not really forced to block with Zed. Yeah, let's just wait a turn. Might have been dangerous. We weren't presenting enough damage to where he ever has to block with this.
Sweet smell of science.
It's scary. Okay. But at least like the big thing for us with the combat now is we can generate overwhelms on both Lee Sin, on flipped Lee Sin and Horns of the Dragon next turn. So he is going to have like a fully wide board here, but it's just not super scary.
I want to go home. A sturdy construction. Yeah.
They
Yeah,
follow
I think
the
we're
wrong
okay.
master.
We have to, kind of worry about some kind of rando removal spell, but otherwise I think this is fine.
shadows cut deep as any weapon.
Is that all you got?
You lack subtlety.
Let's just block stuff.
Your fate was written.
That's probably good enough. I guess like my big question here is, do we have to worry about another Yone? But we can kill with an open attack. I think this is fine.
A fallen petal.
It is written.
So either this attack will be successful and we'll win, or he'll have a Will of Ionia in his hand and we'll lose. That's what this turn's going to come down to now. Oh, did I mess this up? Do we have to Whimsy from the start? No, this is okay. We can just go ahead and hit Yone.
As the dragon wills.
And then I'm just going to count on the dragon kick. If he has a second Yone, then we lose. So we just want to go ahead and try to get this done with fast spells. Okay, good game. It paused. I was like, "Oh my god, what did we do wrong?" It's like when the puff cap comes up and pauses for a second. Gotta give you a little bit of the scaries. Okay, let's see what trade picks we want to make here. Always happy to pick up a Sonic Wave. I think it's a little more important than picking up an additional River Shaper, and we're never trading out Deep Meditation, so that's good. Legion Drummer for an Eyes of the Dragon will be good. We don't really want Dragon's Rage. Don't want to trade away our Rune Weavers. I am okay to trade away Will of Ionia. It's not very important here. But that one has Dragon in the name, so it must be good. And then here I want to hang on to our River Shapers. As you can see, these games that feel kind of close, it's when we don't have enough spells at the end of the game. It's right, we either like stumble at the very beginning or we don't have enough spells at the end, and River Shaper helps with both of those problems. The question here is, do we want a Whimsy? Pretty okay with it. Legion Drummer is not very exciting in our deck. Let's go ahead and pick up a second one. Okay, don't think I want to make any of these. Brothers Bond isn't super good here. We need to keep our one horns before picking up Reckoners, and then happy to keep Rushes. Okay, never trading away Shin, not trading away the Blade Squire. I'm kind of interested. This is our second Spirit's Refuge, right? Let's go ahead and pick up a second Deep Meditation. This is one of these cards that I've just been like itching to draw in the majority of these games. So happy to pick that up. Don't think I want to make any of these trades. The Jeweled Protector is just kind of like okay here. We don't have a lot of good combos with this. I think I'm good to keep a split between these. I want to keep our 2 Deep Meditations, and Whirling Death is fine, but I want to hang on to 1 Spirit's Refuge. Wouldn't be upset to pick up a second one. And here I'm going to skip all these. We want to keep all of our claws. 3 is the most concussive palms that I want, and this is one of our very few targeted removal spells. So we'll skip that one as well. But yeah, in a pretty good spot. I wish we had a little bit more Reforged, but kind of is what it is. We didn't see any weapon hilts. I think we passed 1 Reforged throughout the draft. Still, they feel good. We've been able to generate swords multiple times. We've been able to give our Lee Sins and Claws of the Dragons, or Horns of the Dragons, Overwhelm multiple times. They've most certainly proved their wealth, their value and wealth in this run. Prove their wealth? No, it's prove their worth. But this game's going to spiral out, I think. It tends to be what happens when this just stalls forever at the beginning. Don't think we'll be seeing Zoe here. Oh, it stuck around. Okay. Well, I mean, we don't have much interaction for either Zoe or Ezreal, so we'll just do the standard mulligans looking for Claws of the Dragons in early gameplays. We did pick up an answer to Zoe. And a Blade Squire, cool. What? Really? That's gonna be it? Man, is this one of these people that you get 7 wins in your first one and then you just concede in your second one just so somebody else could have the win? I want the game, man. I want the game. Well, that was like the most anticlimactic 7 wins ever. So, alright, well, let me get this deck list pulled up here real quick. Oh, our Guardian's been kind of freaking out at the end of these trials. There we go. So yeah, this turned into a pretty good Lee Sin combo. Just as I suspected, you know, all these reforges are pretty fantastic all across the board. We would have loved to have had a few more. I could really see pushing together some kind of like big aggressive deck with like Claws of the Dragons and Rune Weavers. Not quite what we got together here, but you know, what I think is, you know, more commonly we'll see with Lee Sin is what this deck looks like. But yeah, like so, you know, a few things happened in this trial that I do want to kind of touch on. The big one we talked about kind of an extent when we were talking about Riven at the beginning is like Riven and Reforges isn't a deck on its own. That's like the big thing you have to kind of understand with these. You know, this just is not a deck. Your game plan for winning is you can technically have your game plan be Reforge Riven, and then like turn 5 or turn 6, just play big Sword Honor. But that's not a deck. That can be kind of like a sub theme to a deck, but that's just not what your game plan should ever really be. Your thing with these Reforges needs to be like, what are we going to do with these? What's our plan going to be? You know, that Riven plan is not a real plan. You can try to make that a plan. It's just not good enough. You know, you need some kind of like full build around type thing that you're going to be doing with this. And so, you know, they give you kind of like the augment deck that you can be doing. You can see the Taric deck you can be doing. Those are the 2 Riven pools. You can, you know, easily imagine pairing these up with Draven. Draven loves to have all of these cards. Or, you know, if you're in a scrap heap deck with Jinx and you need the discards, you know, these can do it. Like, you have to be coming up with some kind of theme that you're going to be using all of these reforged cards for, because simply generating the sword is not enough. And, you know, here with this Lee Sin, you know, Lee Sin is quite the answer for this. You know, giving him +2 attack is mediocre. Giving him Overwhelm is bonkers. And, you know, we have plenty of units in the deck that are pretty happy to just pick up Quick Attack or pick up the +2 attack, River Shaper being a big one. Anything that we give Challenger via Sonic Wave, also very happy to have Quick Attack or +2 attack. And so, you know, that is the answer to our question in this trial is what are we going to do with all of our Reforges? Because Riven and Big Sword aren't enough. We're going to be doing things with Lee Sin. And so that's what the idea behind, you know, quite a bit of this deck was we're going to, you know, I guess as a slide into talking about Lee Sin, our big deal with him is, you know, we can't be playing Whimsy Spirit's Refuge in the same turn as our spells. We can't be playing, you know, Spirit's Refuge plus Twin Disciplines. We can't be playing Will of Ionia plus, I don't know, Rush. The thing I'm getting at is you can't be playing like 2 real spells every turn because you'll run out of spells too quickly. And so you have to be doing, you know, what we did here. We wanted to use Reforges to count as our spells. So as where typically your only 2 spells in 1 card would be Sonic Wave, to a lesser degree in what we call one as well being Concussive Palm. We look to also gain access to that kind of thing from Blade Squire, Rune Weaver. We wanted to use Weapon Hilt, but that didn't make an appearance here. So that we aren't just, you know, burning through 2 spells a turn trying to activate our Lee Sin. And so that is, you know, kind of to circle all the synergies back together when we ask ourselves, you know, what are we doing with our Reforges? We're using those to fuel our Lee Sins. And so, you know, outside of that, this was a pretty straightforward and standard Lee Sin deck. I think as far as these go, you know, you typically want to have 3 Concussive Palms. You want to have at least 1 Deep Meditation. You want to have at least 1 Whimsy. You really want a way to either generate elusive to kind of like a small degree, or ideally you want to be generating Overwhelm, and that is kind of the continuation of the Reforged Circle is getting Overwhelm on our Lee Sin, and if things go wrong with Lee Sin, on our Horns of the Dragon. But as far as this deck goes, be sure to find something that you can do in the early game. That's also why I was pretty excited to find these Blade Squires and Rune Weavers, because outside of Claws of the Dragon, there just aren't a lot of early game plays here, right? We picked up 2 Eye of the Dragon, which is epic, and you can't really count on doing. But otherwise, you're kind of stuck playing Scales of the Dragon and River Shapers that aren't good at combat. Like, it's tough to find a lot of early game plays in this deck, and so that's why I was also kind of stoked to have the Blade Squire plus Rune Weaver package. But if you're drafting this on your own, do try to find something to do in the early game. Try to get a pretty even mix of units and spells. You do kind of want it to look like 15 and 15 as the number of cards in your deck, 15 units, 15 spells, but then some of those spells should be what's it called? Concussive Palm. There we go. It's slipping my mind. Concussive Palm, kind of counts as a unit, and then a lot of our units actually generate spells. So we do actually have a lot more than 15 spells in the deck, and then you technically have about 18 to 20 units because of the Concussive Palms. But do watch that mixture of units and spells. It's very easy to have too many units to where your Lee Sins aren't doing anything, or too many spells to where you just die early on in the game. And so that's, kind of the big one, watching the unit to spell mix, making sure you have enough early game plays. If you want to answer the question, what do I do if I don't draw Lee Sin or if he dies? It is always Horns of the Dragon. And, just beyond that, make sure that you find yourself some way to interact with your opponent's units, because you're probably not going to be finding removal spells in this pool. And so we have, 1 Whimsy to deal with a follower, 1 Will of Ionia to go and answer a champion or something, just a kind of a catch-all here. And then, if you're able to pick up a Calling Strike or a Whirling Death, then, congratulations, because that's fairly important to do. But all in all, pretty cool stuff. I thought that was a nice little 7-0 run here with Reforged Lee Sin, even though Dum Dum there at the end just conceded on the first turn. But let's go ahead and check out these rewards, see what we pull off, and then we'll call it a day. That's Mimic. Ooh, and a card from Foundations. I wonder if we're 100% there yet. Hang on. Is it on home or on collection? Probably on collection. Nope. Home. This thing? There we go. Was that our... Oh, we're still 1 card short on Foundations. Oh, just on the commons. Oh man, we still need 5 rares? Life is hard. Life is hard. I thought we were a lot closer than 6 cards away. But let's see if we pop it off with these rewards here. No, this will be the new set epic. Mechanized Mimic. But cool. All right, that is gonna do it for us today. Hope you all learned the ways of the dragon, learned how to reforge your swords just a little bit better, and had a good time in the process. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.